So non-believers don't have a chance there. Then poverty also has a use for intellectuals. They can sit in their armchairs in air-conditioned atmosphere like this, and then over cups of coffee, and if it is late in the evening, over drinks, discuss about corruption, poverty, environment. And it keeps their conscience clear, because you have got a subject to discuss. And then it gives also an occasion to people like Indol and Shweta to launch something like YPOL and organize this meeting where people come and discuss the concept of poverty and its implications, remedies, and a whole lot of jobless people like me also get an opportunity to talk about it. Friends, sometimes I really feel that it would be extremely helpful if the poor were to get only half of the money that is spent on studying the concept of poverty. Friends, while preparing for this lecture, I just looked at the papers and I found as many as 5 studies have been done, at least 5 studies have been done over the years to study, to get at to the extent of poverty we have in India. You have this Planning Commission study which says that number of people living below poverty line is 27.5%. Then, of course, Suresh Tendulkar committee report came. It put the figure at 37%. Then World Bank made a study. They said 42%. And they put the amount at $1.25 per day. But they used the purchase power parity, and it came to 20 rupees a day. And then the Arjun Sen Gupta committee put it at 78% of India's population lives below poverty line. I somewhere, really pity those who indulge in the habit of self-pity. There seems to be competition in proving that India is not doing well. Of course, there are areas where we are doing very well. There are areas where we are not doing well. But to suggest that in independent India, the rich has become richer and the poor has become poorer is just not the right thing to say, because this is not borne out by facts. Fact is that rich has become richer. But even among the poor, the many poor, they become less poor, and there are poor who has moved to middle class, and from middle class people have gone to rich class. In fact, if you look at the number of people who are millionaires today, or crorpatis, right from Dhirubhai Ambani to, you can take thousands of names, they were very ordinary people 30 years back. But independent India has given them opportunities. But that doesn't mean that we don't have poor people. We have poor people. We have hungry people. We need to do something about them. But to say that, to use a cliche, that the rich has become richer and poor has become poorer is just not the right thing to say. Friends, we all aspire to be happy. In fact, if we talk in terms of ending poverty, the ultimate goal is how to bring happiness to people. But sometimes I think both poverty and wealth have failed to bring happiness. If poverty has failed, poor people are seldom happy. But I have seen even wealthy people are seldom happy. So the connectivity between wealth and happiness, we shouldn't confuse. And most of the time, friends, a man can stand his own poverty better than he can the other fellow's prosperity. Many times you are unhappy because you find somebody else happy. And The poorest of the men, all men, is not the one without a rupee, but it is the man without a dream. If you have a dream, there is a chance you will be happy in life. Friends, what worries me in India's context is that entire generation of Indians, thanks to the populist policies which successive governments have followed, entire generation of Indians is not unemployed. They are unemployable. They are not unemployed. They are unemployable. And since I am in a public life, many times people come to me for jobs. And you get up in the morning, you will be told, so-and-so has been sent by so-and-so, he is waiting outside. I go out, I meet the person. I ask him, क्या चाहिए? साहब काम चाहिए. This is how usually the dialogue goes. अच्छा, क्या काम करोगे भैया? साहब आप जो कहेंगे. Very polite answer. जो आप कहेंगे. अच्छा भैया, ड्राइविंग का काम जानते हो? ना साहब, गाड़ी तो कभी ना चलाए. अच्छा, रसोई में खाना वाना अच्छे से बना सकते हो क्या? नहीं साहब, दाल चावल जानते हैं, उससे ज्यादा तो कुछ नहीं जानते. और खाना वाना तो साहब नहीं. घर में सफाई वगैरह? नहीं साहब, सफाई का काम हम नहीं करते. भैया प्लम्बिंग का, इलेक्ट्रिशियन का काम? नहीं साहब, उसकी तो हमको कोई समझ नहीं है. तो भैया क्या काम करोगे? जो आप कहें वो. So you have the entire generation of unemployable people. And then there is another concept developing. That is calm versus naukri. To bring home this point, I'll recall an anecdote. One of my friends, he became an editor in a newspaper in Bihar. He had a poor relative who came to him and said, "Uncle, my husband is jobless. You please get him a job." The boy had done matriculation or something like this. So my friend got him a job in the newspaper office. After a month, the husband-wife team showed up again. "Uncle, he has got a job in the press. He has to lift heavy newsprint rolls. He's physically not that strong. Why don't you get him a lighter job?" My friend was very accommodative. He got that boy a job as a peon in the general manager's office. After a couple of months, again this couple shows up. "Sir, the job is very difficult." "Why?" "Sir, the managers come at 9. So my husband has to be there at 8:30 in the morning. So? And he leaves at 7 in the evening. And only then my husband can leave." Then my friend, he got annoyed. He said, "Arey, नौकरी करते तो काम तो करना पड़ेगा." To which this girl replied, "हम तो आपको अपना समझ के आए थे. हमको नौकरी चाहिए थी. काम तो हमारे घर में ही बहुत है. काम तो हमारे घर में ही बहुत है." Now, this concept that naukri and काम are different, the problem which some of you had raised about teachers not working, the government schools not having teachers who will teach, because each one of them had worked to get a naukri. They are bright people to get a naukri. They are cheated to get a naukri. Once they have got a naukri, then there is no concept of काम. Poverty, to my mind, is not a disgrace. But this sort of attitude is. And we need to change this attitude. Friends, I will move to a slightly more serious subject. The US is considered to be an icon of economic development, a model which has to be copied by the rest of the world if they want to arrive, and many of us in India also feel the same way. In fact, up to 1990, you had two models of development, communism and capitalism. And after the collapse of communism, it was automatically assumed that this is the success of capitalism. The death of communism was interpreted as the success of capitalism. In fact, one very well-established thinker, Francis Fukuyama, he wrote a book which said, "End of history and last man." End of history and last man. And drawing a great deal from Hegel, he said, history is what? History is a record or a catalogue of conflicts between human beings. And now that free market